Hello, everybody. Welcome back to How Come. This episode is like nothing you have ever heard before, and yet it is still oh so relatable. Today, I am talking to Srilatha Rajamani. She is a hilarious stand up comedian. I met her pretty recently, and I was very interested in her set where she was talking about the fact that she's only had sex 2 times in her life, and a child resulted from one of those times. And now she is asexual, and we're just talking about her journey of how she figured out who she is. And it's a very triumphant and exciting and cool episode. And yes, an asexual episode, which I don't know if that we've had a full blown asexual episode. We've had asexual wondering people, but never someone who was like officially. So, she's very sweet. She's very funny. And I think you guys will love this episode, even if you are not asexual yourself.
How come? How come? How come I can't achieve? How come I can't achieve? I'm rolling up my sleeves. I'm rolling up my sleeves. Oh baby, I believe these guests can help. Cause I can't do it by myself. I wanna jizz.
I'm so excited for this episode. Yeah, get cozy. Welcome, Srilatha.
Hey, Remy, how are you?
I'm great. How are you?
Doing okay. It's been a hot few days, so I'm kind of enjoying today's weather.
I know. It's hot in the least sexy sense.
I mean, this heat does make me get wet, so
Yeah, but in just all the wrong ways. Like I'm like, oh, my tits are rolling drips of sweat down my leg.
Oh God, yes. And it's just, it's hard when you're wearing a bra because your bra basically becomes like a cup holder for your sweat.
Yeah.
It's terrible.
There's got to be somebody who has a fetish for sweat, though. Like,
oh God, I don't know who.
If you're out there and this conversation's already turning you on, so happy for you.
Okay. Like a couple of days ago, I was at the train station. It was so hot. I was, the sweat kind of drips down to your thighs and everything. And then after a while, the train arrived. And as I am trying to walk, it just, there is like a kind of a weird noise coming from down there, like almost like
from the train or from you?
From me, as I am like walking. Like I'm like literally, I was waiting for a while, sweat pooled and it just squelched. And it was so awkward. It was like I did some kind of a smothered fart or something.
Oh my God.
It was so awkward. Now I would challenge anybody to get turned on by that.
See, again, I'm sure Pornhub has a category for it. But so you and I met probably in an equally hot week. We were on a show together pretty recently at the Stand. Shout out to our friend Kyle Lewis.
Hey, Kyle.
And your set, there's not a lot of people that I chase down after hearing their comedy because most stories are just like, not hack, but I've heard them a million times. Nothing's like too special anymore. And your set, I was like, oh, I've never heard this in my entire life concerning your sex life. So do you remember what you were talking about that night?
Being asexual, celibate, maybe sex toys. I'm not sure.
Okay, so not the asexual aspect of it, but the having had sex twice.
Yes, yeah.
And at least once it resulted in a child.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah, my lovely daughter.
Yeah. So you have had sexual intercourse twice in your life.
Yeah.
And have a full-grown woman who is your daughter at this point.
Yeah.
And also this shock value too was the fact that you aren't 26 because I literally I was like, how do you have a kid the same age as you?
Oh God, no. My daughter is 27. So
crazy.
Yeah.
Physically impossible to have a daughter a year older than you. But so how did, first of all, like, congratulations that you were so incredibly fertile to be able to, like, 1 out of 2 times and having a child. Like, so many of my friends are struggling with infertility, so that aspect was just shocking. But then also, like how did it come to that point where it was like you tried it once, you tried it twice, you said I'm finished forever?
Oh, okay. So is it okay if it gets a little bit sad or dark?
Of course. And I'm here for
Okay.
you, and don't worry.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I have never been sexually attracted,
Mm-hmm.
like for all of my life. I've been like romantically attracted,
Totally.
but not not sexually. I do like there is a difference that for me it took a long time to understand because we always especially I grew up in India,
Mm-hmm.
and like 1980s 1990s, there's not a lot of information on sexual awareness. There's just not a lot of knowledge that is shared,
Mm-hmm.
education even in schools.
Was it abstinence education, or it was just like nothing
No, I
spoken
mean,
about?
it, so it's weird. Like I did go to a Catholic school, and I was in Bombay. Like it's a pretty, modern city.
Mm-hmm.
My school did offer like sex ed in that sense that we had like the videos explaining their body
Okay.
and how pregnancy happens. The mechanics of it was shared.
Mm-hmm.
But the difference between like and in a conservative Indian family like mine, like we Hindu family, it's just very gender separation is quite early on.
Mm-hmm.
And you always told you can't like hang with boys and
Okay.
those things. So there was a lot of like restrictions. Only I didn't find them too restrictive because I didn't have the least desire
You didn't
to
have the
hang
urge.
with boys.
Yeah.
I didn't have the urge at all. I knew the mechanics of sex, but it wasn't something I cared about. And
Mm-hmm.
at that age, not caring about it was okay.
Mm-hmm.
In fact, my parents were rather proud of like me just always focusing on schoolwork, and I do have a line which says I'm a good girl.
Yeah.
That's how my parents always thought of me. And even now, my dad will say, "My daughter was so good when she was in India, and now look what she is."
Yeah.
Um, I
And it's
don't
not that
know.
you were a good girl, you were just being true to yourself the whole time. So like truly you've never
Absolutely.
changed.
Truly, I've never
Yeah.
changed. The shift from like feeling I would get romantically attracted, but it
Mm-hmm.
just didn't feel like romance to me because it wasn't restricted to the opposite gender.
I
So
gotcha.
I was romantically attracted, which I didn't think that was romance. I just thought that was caring,
It's a really good
affection,
friend.
attraction. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, yeah. Or even the weirdest people. I used to get attracted to like pictures that I had seen.
Oh,
Um, I
totally.
once got. I once got attracted to Madeleine Albright. I saw her on TV and I was just smitten.
Wait, I need to look up what
Which
she looks like because I've never even
I don't know, something about
considered.
the power suits and the big brooches she used to wear. I don't know, something about it. Um,
Okay. She's a
yeah,
choice.
I know. She's a choice, isn't it? Also, Fidel Castro, Chou and Lai, people who are dead. Um, they didn't have to be alive. I would look at a picture and I would like get dreams about them, but not dreams of like doing anything related to sex, of which I had the
Yeah.
awareness of in terms of the mechanics. It was more like, dreams of like spending our life together,
Mm.
kind of dreams. So when I was growing up, that wasn't an issue, me being myself. But when I was like finishing college, my parents were like, they wanted to arrange my wedding. And, in that time, and even now, in a lot of places in India, even Indians who live in America, arranged marriage is quite common.
Yeah.
It's very common still, but this was like in the 80s and 90s. It's just very, very normal.
Mm-hmm.
And my parents were talking about arranging my marriage. For me, that was just like a complete, like, if I think about it, I still get very triggered when even that memory makes me feel like very anxious
Yeah.
and it causes me a lot of stress. I didn't want to get married.
How old were you?
So when they first started talking about this, I was 20.
Okay.
And I was like, not in Indian terms, like I was well past, like my aunts got married when they were like 18 and
Yeah.
stuff. The legal age is 18. So I was 20 and they were talking about this. For me, that was My parents are genuinely, if I say anything now that, puts them in a bad way, no, they're absolutely not. They are loving and they love and they
Mm-hmm.
care about me. But this concept of the way I was feeling, even I didn't understand. How are they supposed to understand?
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Uh, and I went through like mental health issues, feeling that anxiety and feeling like, you suddenly come to realize that you're not this person, who is normal. All of a
Mm-hmm.
sudden I felt abnormal in that. And it went through like a breakdown. I attempted self harm
Mm-hmm.
and I was in therapy. So when I was about 23, 24. Until then, I was kind of recovering.
It's nice that they gave you the space to do that. Like, even
Absolutely.
though they didn't understand what you were going through, like, I
Yeah,
feel like a lot of parents who I don't want to like label them like conservative, but who have traditional values are usually like
yeah.
the most, not the most willing to like have therapy be an
Mm,
option.
absolutely.
Yeah.
They are great parents.
Mm-hmm.
I have nothing but love and respect for them. But still, their values were this.
Yeah.
And after I went through therapy and after I got exhausted, I had to go through hypnotherapy. I was just completely like, it was debilitating.
Yeah.
During that time I had finished my undergrad college when this happened.
Mm-hmm.
So during that time I studied, I went through grad school in India, uh, you know while going through the mental breakdown, which sounds unbelievable, but it
That
wasn't.
sounds crazy.
It sounds crazy, but I was still, living with my parents and I studied like remotely. I didn't go to a college in person.
Mm-hmm.
So my parents felt like, studying would keep my thoughts away from all the bad stuff. And I do like
Totally.
studying.
The unbusy mind is the devil's playground.
Absolutely.
Like if
Yeah.
you're not doing something else, then all you have to do is ruminate on what's going on in your head. And if it's not good stuff,
Mhm.
then like it just gets worse.
It's like, sometimes, when I feel sad, I go out for a walk. They say serotonin,
Mm-hmm.
with the physical activity. I feel like for me, studying is the same thing for my brain
Yeah,
because it feels like it kind of centers me, like I'm
totally.
learning Japanese now and trying to write the
Oh,
script.
とてもすごいね.
Ah, arigato. でも、少し大変ですね。
What is it? すみませんがちょっとちょっと
ちょっと大変です。
yeah.
Yeah, and just learning that, practicing the script, and it's doing that has been keeping me because I did go through another mental health break last year.
Mm-hmm.
So when I started this class, I started feeling a lot more centered because I was able to, if I'm really stressing on something, I just start writing kanji, and
Oh my
it keeps
god.
my head, in that.
You
So
guys,
yeah, this
kanji
is what
is the
happened.
hardest alphabet. There's 3 alphabets. It's I could never.
Katakana, hiragana
Yeah.
is fine.
Yeah.
Hiragana is the best for me. It's like my girl.
Hiragana's
Katakana,
gorgeous. Yeah.
yeah. Katakana, yeah, I can see the value. You're very cool. But kanji kicks me every day.
Yeah.
Like I just half an hour back, I was in the shower. Like I had forgotten the kanji for something that I know I should know very well,
Yeah.
and it just was like, oh my god! And I just ran out of the shower, wet, dripping. Just got to my book to see what that kanji was because it was like,
And that's
you
so
know.
much better than sitting in the shower. I don't know what your shower thoughts are, but mine are like, I'm disgusting. I need to quit everything. Nobody likes me, instead of just being like, wait, what the fuck is that character? What is that?
Yeah.
And that has nothing to do with you. It just has to do with like learning a new skill.
Yeah. Anyway,
Yes.
going to that past stuff. Uh, I when I finished my grad school in India,
Mm-hmm.
that time IT, like this was like before Y2K, year 2000, the scare that was going to happen about everything, all the systems in the world just suddenly shutting down and everything. I don't know if a lot of listeners remember that now. It's like,
If you guys don't, that's
it's
crazy. No, I'm just kidding. We're not ageist here. You're allowed to not remember Y2K, but it was a blast.
yeah,
It was scary,
it
and then it was a
was.
blast.
Yeah, and then nothing really happened.
Nothing
But like,
happened.
the prospect of that, there was like a lot of jobs were opening up, and India was turning into this IT
Tech
kind of
hub.
a thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I had taken some, computer, software classes while studying for my master's in psychology in India. So when I finished, and this whole world in the West was opening up, and I was telling my parents I want to go to the U.S. and study.
Mm-hmm.
My parents were like, "You can do that, but only after you get married."
Got it.
So they said they would find me somebody who lives in the U.S. And who's
Okay.
working in the U.S. So that was like how the matchmaking was arranged.
I have a
Um,
question just before we get
yeah.
into that. So I know it was like you weren't talking to like men about stuff, but like
Mhm.
obviously there was a lot of young women going through the same matchmaking as you. Like, did any of your friends have similar anxieties or like also were just reticent to getting married or no?
No.
Okay.
My friends didn't. Some of my friends had already gotten married by then.
Mm-hmm.
One of my closest friends, I mean, everyone's marriage was arranged. Like, there was no one really whose marriage wasn't arranged within my friends group. Even in my own family, my older cousin, who was like 2 years older than me, her marriage was also arranged the same way.
Yeah, yeah. I
She's
just meant
very
like they
nice.
were all ready at the time that it was
They were
happening.
all ready. It was
Wow.
normal. Like,
Okay.
oh, you're going to see, you get prepared, you meet somebody,
Mm-hmm.
and then, again, my parents didn't insist that I should only marry this one particular person. They told me I can meet a lot of people.
Mm-hmm.
If I don't like somebody, I tell them, and all of that, which is very, in the arranged marriage world,
Rare.
not a lot of choices are offered,
Yeah.
but, my parents did, do that. They would investigate the families to make sure this family is good. The person is earning money, the person is like having like a history of like not, of being like, good,
Mm-hmm.
a good character. And this is not
A
just a
good boy
horoscope.
for
It
a
was
good girl.
absolutely,
Yeah.
yeah. That's how it. I should start my own asexual marriage matrimonial thing, and that would be it. A good boy
A
for a
good
good
boy
girl.
for a good girl.
Yeah. So that's how it happened. And for me, the choice was to go to the if I wanted to go to America, I had to get married.
Mm-hmm.
And after going through all of that, and like the breakdown and the self harm and the therapy,
Mm-hmm.
I was just basically kind of like sort of had reached a point where I'm ready to accept it because although I knew the mechanics of sex, I hadn't like physically experienced it. And the closest I would have experienced anything related to, a sexual contact would be like getting harassed in a bus in Bombay. Like that was the
Yeah.
closest. Yeah. So I,
That's not a
I
great
just
association for something that's supposed to be nice.
exactly.
Yeah.
So I didn't have any great expectations, but it was something everybody did. So, I finally like, agreed.
Mm-hmm.
And that's, how I got married. But it's hard to do something like that intimate with a stranger, even if you have been talking to
Totally.
them for a while. So we had a year of like, marriage and then moving to a different country, like to the US.
Mm-hmm.
I was in California. I was in school.
Mm-hmm.
And, they were working in the Bay Area. I was in LA. So a long distance. So after,
So you had like a long distance kind of like courtship.
long distance kind of marriage because marriage had happened by
Oh, you
then.
were already married.
Yeah, yeah.
Wow,
So
wow, wow, wow.
married, that's how I was allowed to leave India anyway.
Okay. It
Yeah.
wasn't like, I
So
promise I'll do it in 2 years, just let me go. It was like,
no, it
get
wasn't like
married,
that.
but you
No.
can live separately from him and
Yeah, no, that was
study.
like, studying in LA to, my dad didn't know the actual like distance between LA and,
You're like,
it's
we're
just
both in
one state. It's
California. It's like
California. It's
everywhere
in
in
California.
California is 5 minutes away.
Absolutely, but it's just hard to like consider those things,
Yeah.
but it was fine. And my daughter's dad, he's a perfectly fine, human being.
Mm-hmm.
Like if he wasn't evil in any way, or like insistent or like horny or anything.
Yeah.
I mean, you do. I don't know if he was horny or not. I have never,
But not
had that.
insistent upon you.
Not
Yeah.
insistent
Okay.
upon me. And yeah, so that's basically the whole thing where, finally, the first time it wasn't nice. I didn't really like it.
Mm-hmm.
But, you know, the first time, I don't know how good it is for a lot of people. Like by then I had read a lot about sex.
Yeah.
Like, oh my God, I was very clinical about the whole thing. And this was before
Same.
like everything was on Google.
Yeah.
So, um, um, and I fairly, within, it was just about a month of, the duration of the two acts was like about a month.
Mm-hmm.
And by then I had gotten pregnant already. So
You got
that
pregnant
was
the first time.
within that first two times. I mean, I don't know. There was two
Right,
times
right,
in
right,
that
right.
month, and that's about it. Yeah.
Wow. Okay, so I will say, not that it's a similar story at all, but I do think a lot of people are told that your first time is going to be horrible.
Mm-hmm.
And in a lot of cases, it is, but it's usually because you haven't done any self exploration, and like the whole focal point is on the act itself with the other person.
Yeah.
Like we have a listener who was like, oh, I had been masturbating for years and like using dildos, and then by the time I had sex with a guy, like it was like nothing. And I already knew my body and I knew how to have a good time. I knew how to instruct him. I was not like that. I was just like,
Mm-hmm.
this is something that I have to check off my list so that people don't think I'm a
Yes.
prude. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Exactly. This was just checking off the parental, expectations list, which is also, honestly, when I found that I was pregnant, I was relieved because that was the list checked
You
off.
did it.
Get married, have a child, done. It's
Honestly, all of your years of being a good girl really paid off. Like somebody was like, just let her stop.
Yeah, yeah. I'm very grateful, and I love my daughter. Like I
Yeah.
love her absolutely. And looking back, there are regrets I have in life. It would never be about her existence. I love
Oh,
her,
yeah.
ultimately. Like that has always been the case. But if I honestly say that if I could have done like maybe adopted a child
Mm.
later on, I would have chosen that maybe instead of like like in vitro if I wanted to. Just getting a child through this, it's just for me, it was just a job. It wasn't,
Yeah.
it's so horrible. I hope my daughter never listens
No,
to
I
this.
don't. You're not the only one who has gone through this, whether it's from a matchmaking culture or just like the societal expectation to have kids. Like there are a
Yeah.
lot of people who I know who I'll watch them get married and they don't like their husband. They just don't want to be the last person unmarried. Or they'll be
Hmm.
getting pregnant and they're not excited for the baby. And I'm like, like
Yeah.
it's
Well, I do.
but then it comes
I
out and
try.
hopefully you fucking like the thing.
I love my daughter,
Yeah.
and I did my best for her. When she was
Yeah.
growing up, I was, we I became like almost like a single parent because we her father and I then worked in separate states,
Mm-hmm.
so I became a single parent through a lot of her early years.
Mm-hmm.
So it wasn't easy, but it was never once something that was like that I thought I couldn't manage. I would manage that, and I
Yeah.
knew I would be able to. It is just that my daughter now, she's 27, and she has told me that she doesn't want to have a child. In fact, she's not had the hysterectomy, but
Mm-hmm.
she's had something. Where she's got her fallopian tubes removed because she doesn't want to have a child.
Mm-hmm.
She doesn't feel like, and that is her choice. And
See,
I,
that's
I
so
was
nice for you to like not judge her, like
Oh God, it was
yeah.
hard. We didn't speak for a few months
Okay.
because she thought I'm not going to understand. I only asked her if you're sure because I didn't want her to have regrets later
Mm-hmm.
on because she's still very young.
Yeah.
But who am I to know? Who am I to say no to that? Like, we had conversations, and then I was there through her surgery when it was happening. And
Mm-hmm.
not that I was in the surgical room, but I was
Talking
like,
to her.
I took her to the hospital, and I totally respect her choice. Like for my parents, me having a child is the way they thought my future is going to be,
Mm-hmm.
secure. But
Legitimized.
legitimized and secure. That is like your child has to take care of you when you're older.
Oh
I don't
yeah.
expect my daughter to take care of me at all. Like my plan is to, spend my 401k and then hire somebody to kill me. Like
I
that's like a
love you so
solid.
much.
Oh God.
I would love to
Um,
go to Sweden and sit in one of those pods with you when we're ready
yeah,
and fucking
exactly.
bounce.
Absolutely. I don't expect her to. Like, so that's my, that is how, like, that is my worldview. And, and my daughter probably thinks, hey, she doesn't, I'm totally like on board with whatever she's choosing.
Hmm.
But again, this is like my parents' expectation. And I'm glad that, they are not worried about me.
Yeah.
Some part of me sometimes does feel like, God, I wish my life had been a little bit different.
Hmm.
But most of the time, I don't feel regretful anymore. I'm happy with the person I am now. It has taken me a long time to
Yeah.
reach this point of like finding out who I am and being like secure in this body.
Yeah.
Like before, I used to just wear mostly like black t-shirts and very generic, very, unisex kind of outfits,
Hmm.
and just like try to not be. But
Hide.
yeah.
Yeah.
And now it's like, oh yeah, I like glitter and pink and frothy, those
Yeah.
those what do you call them? Those ballet kind, not ballet
Like
skirts, like
Tool.
things that are poofy. Yeah, tulle.
Yeah.
Yes, I love that. I love glitter. I love pink. I love very feminine things. I'm not exactly the svelte, gorgeous hourglass figure person, but I don't care. Like my cellulite is my gift to New York City.
Yeah.
I'm just going to be like here. This is,
Totally. Was
and
that
that is
something difficult to like understand? Because I have this thing with, I think a lot of people do, where you like confuse sexuality and gender and stuff. And if you don't feel
yes,
you're a hypersexual person, then you can't be like a hyper girly person or like,
yes,
right? So, like, at
yeah.
what point, I know you majored in psych too. Like, did that kind of come along and like, did you realize that like, oh, I don't have to, you know, feel like I want to fuck in order to want to like dress how I like, dress cute and dress girly.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes. For me, that happened when I would say I could tell you around the year when it happened. It was probably like 2020.
Mm-hmm. Oh,
So
cool.
I had just before the lockdown,
Yeah.
I had moved to New York and I was, finally living alone and finally in a place where nobody knows me.
Mm-hmm.
Before that, I was living in Massachusetts. There's a lot of people who knew me in the community. So it was hard for me to like let go because I just didn't want to be perceived as I would always wear like dark clothes or long sleeves, and I didn't want to be perceived as somebody, um, who is I don't know, acting atypical. I just didn't want to be
Totally.
visible,
Yeah.
you know?
Yeah.
So moving to New York was great because like I had already known by then that I'm not attracted. I'm attracted, but I'm not like sexually motivated at all. Learning that had taken me years, and I had been like reading books, like talking to people in the LGBTQ community in Boston,
Mm-hmm.
like going to a lot of events, like learning events, like educating myself, and I known who I was, but I didn't feel like I had the right. Therefore, if I'm not having sex, I shouldn't present myself in a wearing a flirty outfit,
Totally.
quote unquote flirty
Yeah.
outfit.
Yeah.
That
Yeah.
is how I was always internalizing it. And sometimes I would wish to, I would when my daughter was, in school, I would sometimes wear one of her outfits
At
and look
home.
at myself in the mirror and think I look kind of nice, and then put it away because I didn't want to be seen.
Mm-hmm.
Oh God, outside
It makes
wearing.
sense though, because I feel like a lot of people are taught that like you dress for other people. You dress for like the
Exactly,
gays or like not the GAYS, everybody
the gays.
the gay. No, literally there was this woman who coached my improv team like 15 years ago or something. And I was like, "Oh, are you on a team of your own?" She's like, "Yeah, it's called the female gaze." And I had never heard the phrase the male gaze before. And I go, "Oh, cool. Is everyone gay?" And she was like, "Oh my God."
Yeah. Well, it was my gaze. Like
But it's
I
your
okay, I would
gaze.
say it's
Yeah.
my gaze. Yeah. I felt very awkward about doing that in Boston, but somehow doing that in New York City felt a lot different.
Yeah.
And to be honest, by then Uniqlo had released a line of like, summer clothing and like bright, beautiful like dresses and stuff. And I'm a big Uniqlo fan because it is for me, affordable and I can get clothes in like my size
Hmm.
also.
And
So I
it's
was
like
just like, oh,
low key sweat resistant. I love Uniqlo.
yes, thank you.
Yeah.
Yes. Yes, the fabric is amazing and it has pockets.
Hmm.
Uniqlo's not paying for this, and I think they should sponsor this episode. But yeah, I thought, oh yeah, I started buying like dresses. I hadn't worn dresses in years.
Yeah.
And 2020 is when I actually bought dresses. I realized, oh, I like it and it's comfortable. Another thing with dresses, it lets air go through your lower part so you don't sweat
Yeah.
there. People, the area down there shouldn't sweat, whether you're having sex or not. It should be sanitized. Oh gosh, I
Unless
enjoyed
you're trying
dresses.
to make those really nice sounds for people on the subway who
Oh,
they
squelch,
love
squelch.
it. Okay, so and you were saying you were doing a lot of like learning in Boston. Like was it were there groups for like people who were thinking, oh, I may be asexual, or was it like LGBTQ groups, or like are these
Yeah.
forums or are they in person? Like how did you find
So
them?
Boston, I lived in Cambridge, Massachusetts. So it's a very college. Boston, Cambridge area is
A
very
little
college
little
town.
school in a place called Cambridge.
So I had joined. By then, my daughter was like, she was like in high school. She didn't need me to be like full-time
There.
parent, and I had my work was remote. I had started working remote, so I was like, what do I do? Like, how this is a new city for me, how do I meet people? And the best way for me was to join an improv theater called Improv Boston.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, so that's how I got introduced to like performing and
I think the
comedy
female
and
gays
everything.
performed there. No, I'm just kidding.
I mean, we could have.
Maybe.
A lot of groups used to come, especially for the Del Close Marathon
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
week. Many troops used to come from UCB, Second City, and all that. I was not a good improviser. I did take classes up to Harold. I was taking classes, and I was not really improv was not my thing.
Yeah.
But I did like stand up.
Yeah, same.
I had seen Hari Kondabolu perform there,
Yeah,
the
yeah, yeah.
comic, Indian
Love him.
American comic. I love him. And he had performed there. And I was just like, oh my God, he is like me in a way. We know and we have the same cultural
Hmm.
experience. And he is making all of this so funny. And it was seeing him was amazing. I saw him on Diwali Day. It was in like October or November. He was in Improv Boston.
Hmm.
And then I think the following month I took my first stand-up class at Improv Boston
Cool.
because I was just like, yeah, this is something I would love to do. I'll never be as famous as him, but it gave me joy to watch him.
Yeah.
And I just wanted to like, keep that a little bit for myself as well. So by doing that, I got into this, there was this group called Sextacular, which is like, they were like a sex positive community that used to do variety shows in Boston, at Improv Boston. They had seen me do like a stand up set, and so they had asked me to do like, it was a variety show. They asked me to do stand up.
Hmm.
And that's how I got introduced to that community. It was all very like organic. So that, through Sextacular, actually, I learned like they are sex positive, but they also do like meetings, or they used
Hmm.
to. They're no longer active. Like since COVID, they haven't been active. But they used to do meetings. They used to have these like activities where people used to. There was also like a part of the kink community was in that group,
Cool.
and there was just a lot of like different aspects of sexuality. And for me, that was like a place to talk, because until then my knowledge was just from books. I hadn't really, people in the Indian parents community in Greater Boston area are not particularly discussing LGBT for some
Hmm.
reason or the other. So I had
I
never
wonder why.
experienced I had never experienced, that in-person interaction, but that actually, apart from the books, for me, that was like, telling people, hey, this is what because I thought maybe I'm gay, which I wasn't. But
Which you
telling
weren't.
somebody, which I don't think I
Okay.
mean, I am not, my attraction is not just limited to gender, but like, I definitely didn't, I did, try to go on a date with a gay person, through somebody through the sextacular community. They were like, oh yeah, this person likes you, you want to go out? I said sure, but I didn't want to take it any further. I did enjoy the friendship, but I didn't have the inclination to take it any further, and I was attracted to them,
Right.
but I
Like
wasn't like
Madeline
sexually.
Albright.
Like Madeline Albright, who I've never met in my life. She was just a
No.
picture.
But you were
Yeah.
attracted to her in a romantic way, but you didn't want to make it physical.
To make it physical.
Yeah.
And this was a person, like, and a woman, and I still didn't want to, make it physical, but I did enjoy the flirtation part of it. Maybe apart from, we women, we don't necessarily, at least this woman, she didn't necessarily, her flirtations were all very romantic. They didn't go into like, oh, I want to do you,
Yeah.
or I don't know how people say that anymore, but that, it didn't happen that way.
Yeah.
And I enjoyed the romance and the flirtation, but I didn't really want to take it beyond. And I knew that. So I was like, I'm not attracted to men. I'm not attracted to, I mean, I'm not like sexually interested in men.
Yeah.
I'm not sexually interested in women. I'm not sexually interested in people of other genders, trans people, because Sextacular had people of all genders, all sexualities. And I was just like, that is like, somebody said, oh, maybe
You're
have you
attracted
considered?
to world leaders, though, it seems.
I'm attracted to world leaders. I'm attracted to K-pop idols.
Yeah.
I'm of all genders. I know a lot of like comics in the New York scene that I'm attracted to.
Yeah.
It can just be like, it doesn't even have to do with their appearance. Sometimes just some
Energy.
things that go on. That energy, just like, it just thrills me. Like I just feel like warm and comforted inside. It's just a warm, like a hug, it feels like a hug to my heart. And that's how I know I'm attracted. Beyond that, it doesn't go anywhere. But that hug feeling is something that I cherish a lot. I
Do you like physical hugs?
I do like physical hugs.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm okay with physical hugs.
Okay.
It just, I mean, during COVID, I wasn't, to be fair.
Sure.
And if somebody is like wearing a Super Mario or Elmo costume and trying to hug me,
Get away from
I
me.
will kick them.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. But I like, I have discovered since then what, I mean, I'm still like trying to explore this world of asexuality, but at least I have, found a place where I feel more myself than I've ever felt in the last 40 years of my life.
Totally.
So I'm very grateful that, that's why, right now the world is horrible. Everything around is catching, it's horrible. But at least, I'm happy that I have come to this point where I have found
yourself.
that I'm not a freak. Yeah. And I'm very grateful for that.
Yeah. Have you, I don't know if you've thought about this, but like obviously there's a ton of other asexual people who feel the same way you do, that there would like, I like to have a companion and I like to have like that warm hug feeling, or even like a physical hug, or, just like have somebody to like chat with that you feel good around. Is that something that you have ever wanted? Like just like a romantic buddy without the sexual element?
In the beginning, it wasn't. In the beginning, because I was still, happy, and I'm very happy living alone. Honestly, I love that.
Yeah.
In the beginning, it wasn't like that, but since I've grown more comfortable with it now, I do feel like I'm ready to find an asexual romantic person who would like companionship, but not I would love that.
Yeah.
I'm open to that now.
Yeah, but it takes time.
It will take it definitely, because it's not something that there is this concept of demi, like you need to have like
that, demi is still sexual.
It is still sexual.
I'm demi. Like I need to have a a relationship basically with you to want to have sex with you. Otherwise, I'm just forcing myself to have sex, and those things have never
Yeah.
been enjoyable for me.
Yeah. So for me, even getting into that, partnership with somebody, I would probably, it would be in that similar kind of a thing, where I would, I'm open to it. I would love to have a romantic relationship which doesn't involve sex, and I'm open to that now. And it has only taken me like 5 years.
Yeah.
So yeah. But there are asexuals in New York City, obviously, and I go to the meetups for
Yeah.
asexuals. A lot of them are virtual, so
Perfect.
it's nice.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's very cool. Virtuals are cool, right?
Yeah.
I think I was really like not minding lockdown so much because I loved this connection I was making without being in person. Like in person, most of the time is gross.
My favorite thing about lockdown was I would do a show or whatever, and then after the show I would just go like, close my computer and be by myself again.
Yeah,
Like I loved that.
yeah.
I also, when you said that you started like buying more clothes that you liked during 2020, like so many people that I've spoken to, obviously it was a terrible time, people were dying, blah blah blah. A lot of us took it as like a real opportunity to like focus inward and be like, what do I like? And instead of like
Yeah.
focusing on like, oh, I have to go out today. What should I wear so that somebody at the coffee shop doesn't think I look like a slob? It's like, no, I'm not going to see anybody today, but what am I going to wear that makes me feel really good?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Or like I had a bunch of friends like finally get on hormones during lockdown, and like I always say it's like a cocooning moment that you just like kind of like just like
Yes.
take time to yourself
Yeah.
and then like grow.
And at that time, my daughter had gone to Japan to teach English. So she left a lot of her clothes here. And I had a ball trying on all of her clothes. I would sit and put on her clothes and do like a web show, like an online, Zoom show, whatever.
Yeah.
And I just felt special,
Totally.
and I felt so like comfortable and happy in myself. I was just like, why shouldn't I do this after lockdown?
Yeah.
Like I wore my daughter's old dress that she had said, Mom, throw this out. It was like, super old dress. I wore that to a show, and people said, oh, you look nice. And I was like, oh my God, even though I'm like, I am fat and I'm this and I'm that, I look nice.
Yeah.
It's fine.
Yeah.
And that was it was just like, it was just, it was like rebirth.
Totally.
It felt good.
Yeah, it's so nice. And also, nothing actually makes you look better than feeling good. I had rainbow hair for a little bit of time and I loved it because I would just wake up and I'd be like, I'm a fucking unicorn.
Yes.
Okay, wait. So I have a question about your ex and you. Like, you got pregnant, you weren't living together. Did you guys ever live together?
We did.
Okay.
We did live together for 6 years.
Okay.
I mean, 6 years together. And I was pregnant pretty much within the first, month of us living together, which was just like a perfect reason not to have sex anymore.
Yeah.
It was a great excuse.
Yeah.
And after that, being full time with a child, who has energy? Like, working full time, being a full time parent and working full time in the Bay Area, so expensive. It's still expensive. In those days, it was. Being on an H-1 visa, like you don't have a lot of choices. Like in terms of work, you can't find another job. You have to stick to the same employer.
Yeah.
So there are so many reasons why, you can make everything feel like you don't need to have sex anymore. And that was all my reasons, and it didn't feel like I was missing anything. And, I was, I tried to be, like I was fully focused on my daughter. Like that is the part that, sometimes I feel guilty about. Because in a way, I used her as a crutch to escape this obligation of sexual intercourse. And I feel so guilty to her sometimes. Not most of the time, I feel guilty that, I had an ulterior motive.
Yeah.
Everybody says, oh, you're a great mom. And I don't think I was because of that reason.
Right.
For me,
Because you're like, I secretly know that, yes, I was, but it was also to like get out of this other thing.
Get out of this other thing. So yeah.
But you were still there, and it still counts. And did you guys have to sleep in the same bedroom?
I just started sleeping with my daughter in my daughter's room.
Yeah.
And
did you ever speak to him about like, I'm just not into it, or like it was always like, I'm just gonna say her as an excuse, but like it's not like an excuse. It's like it is valid to want to spend time with your kid.
Yeah, but also in this case, honestly, it was an excuse, and I just that's the thing about arranged marriage. I think where at least in this for me, it was like it provided me with an out where I was just like, oh, this is it. Now, for me, I'm not interested anymore. And, when the other person knows you're not interested and then life gets in the way, like there are many married couples, who don't, there are a lot of the times that I've heard, my married friends say they haven't like had romantic, like sexual relations for so many years. So for me, it just probably started a little early. That's about it.
Yeah.
But, it was never a thing that was discussed between us. Like, we never discussed it, but it was something that was mutually like understood. And again, at that time, even I didn't know what asexual was. I just knew I didn't want to have sex with this person anymore.
Which is also fair, right? Like, even if the person isn't asexual, even if, you start your relationship, it's not arranged, you're in love, you're having sex all the time, you get married, you have a kid or whatever. One day you say, I don't want to do this anymore. Like, that's fair. A fair enough excuse.
Absolutely, yes. So, it was very it was never mentioned, yeah.
Was it ever, like, so when, are you guys divorced?
Yeah.
Okay.
But not immediately. It took many years.
Yeah.
It took until green card.
Right. Yeah, because there's so much other shit that you have to deal with. Do you know if he's moved on and if he's like...
We don't talk about that. Okay. We do talk. Like my daughter lives in Boston now, which is where he's living. So we don't we do have we don't talk, we text. It still counts. Texting counts. So, it's fine. Like, we share custody of a dog. So, he's now living in Boston. He's grown like super, he's older and he's very mean and he likes to eat everything. So my dog is living in Boston now.
Okay.
So, sometimes it's like, ordering his medication through this. He would, my ex would message me and say, can you order this medication for George? I was like, sure.
Yeah.
We do text.
Yeah.
We have this.
But
but again,
romantic relationship has never been a part of your relationship. Why would you talk about other ones? Got it.
Absolutely not.
Okay.
It's more like a friendship where it's an old friend that you don't communicate with every day. You would if necessary you will.
Yeah.
He's still my daughter's dad.
Totally.
So that
totally. And I don't know that I've spoken to a ton of asexual people, but I'm sure it's like a big spectrum. Does your form of asexuality mean that you don't even want to self-explore?
I haven't had the least inclination to self-explore.
Okay.
Like, again, I do know the mechanics of it. I know the toys. I don't want to call them toys. What do you call them? Devices?
They're toys. They could be sex toys.
Toys.
Yeah.
They can be toys. Yeah, I've been curious. I've like someone, I don't know who it was. Yeah. My daughter she was traveling in Europe and she got me like a toy that looks like the Eiffel Tower. And she was like, oh, it's fine, it's cute. But I look at it as something interesting. Like, oh,
Yeah.
I have actually been to museums of sex toys.
Oh,
Like,
sure.
in Korea, in Jeju Island, there is this love museum. So they have like a variety of like, it was just an entire exhibit of sex toys through the ages, like from ancient China to like, sex toys made of jade and
Yep.
things. It's just fascinating.
Yeah.
And I am very interested. Again, when I was trying to find out what am I, like, who am
Mm-hmm.
I was exploring everything, like, but I never had the inclination to put any of them on my person. Like,
Sure.
I did try. Like I had bought like those lotiony things and those things. I don't know. They're not lube, but they kind of stimulate you in a way. I
Oh,
think. I
yeah.
don't know.
Yeah. Like a serum.
Yeah, yeah. I've tried, and it never really. And did have the least. Made me feel anything except felt like a heartburn, and I was just like, yeah, this is not what I want for myself.
Stinging.
It's like it's. I would if I want to get heartburn, it should be eating spicy curry. Some things with chili oil.
Yeah. Ugh, I just had the best
Yeah.
hot and sour soup, and I was just like, I'm in pain, but it's so good.
Yeah.
And is it the same thing with like, so I have a thing where like porn has never done it for me. I've kind of like intellectualized it the way it sounds like you're like looking at toys and stuff. Like I can watch it and go, okay. But like the thing that really does it for me is like watching like a romance. Like that's whatever. Have you ever watched porn? And
Does anime porn count?
yeah.
Yeah, I watched anime porn. And it's never been. It was very clinical for me. Again, I never felt titillated. I never felt
Despite
hot and
their
bothered.
tits being the biggest things you've ever seen.
Exactly. I've never been hot and bothered
Yeah.
as much, but I felt moved when, oh my God, when I watched BTS on stage
Okay.
for the first time, I felt moved. It was amazing to see that precision, that beauty, that, grace. Those kinds of things move me.
Yeah.
That is, more than I've ever felt about like watching porn or anime porn.
Totally.
I can watch like Rurouni Kenshin was my favorite anime, and I will go back and rewatch it because it's so heroic and amazing. At the same time, there is another anime which is just about eating food, and I will watch it and I look at food and I just get so. It's just beautiful when I watch the effort that goes to making into this thing, and I'm just like, oh, this is amazing. I can sit and watch a person preparing a beautiful dessert, and I will feel moved. Like,
Yeah.
how? What do you think? Yeah, cake sexual? I don't know.
I relate to that, not in like a sexual way or romantic way with food, but like I also love to watch it prepared, and it just makes me think of like history. Like I think about like how many steps it took for like these different things to be all discovered and put together as like a thing. Like I don't know, it blows my mind.
Yeah, and architecture, or like if I see a beautifully prepared dessert, it's like an edible Sistine Chapel. There is so much effort that went into this amazing thing that you can see.
Yeah.
And
This is
and
why
that
she got you the Eiffel Tower. She was like, look, it's architecture.
Yeah, I love it. I just love the aspects of human excellence. I think that's why I like in a way it's heroic. I do like the heroism of like like Fidel Castro was a hero. Never mind what he is now or how America feels about him. Universal healthcare, people.
Yeah.
Anyway, yeah.
I don't
So
know enough
it's just,
about Fidel Castro, but you can have your thing.
oh, he was just a broad-shouldered, like thick guy.
Okay.
Like Ocho and Lai, such a beautiful face. But I like a beautiful face too. Like Yasmin Benoit, who's like a sexual activist, said, I like a beautiful face, but I don't want to sit on it.
Totally.
It's how it is.
Totally. That is the probably title of the episode. I love a beautiful face, but I don't want to sit on it.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's so funny. If you look at my Instagram today, I stayed up all last night just Googling guys I find attractive and then trying to figure out what the similarities are between all of them. And it turns out they all have features of my boyfriend, which isn't that cute.
That's sweet though.
Yeah.
Very sweet.
I usually ask everybody on the podcast if they remember their first orgasm. I assume that's never happened.
Okay, I know what an orgasm is.
Yeah.
So, some people don't know. I know what it is.
Yeah.
I've seen it.
Yeah.
I've never had it.
And that's fine.
Yeah.
That's totally okay. It takes a lot of pressure off me, because a lot of times when people are like, I can't, I'm like, let me help you. And you're like, I don't care. Like, I'm going to watch Cake later. Everything's good.
Is it cake? It's more real to me.
Yeah. Okay. So I'd also usually ask, do you have any like sexual or romantic goals coming up? But like, do you have any goals in general that you're working on?
I do. I do want to find like a companion or a friend who is, that is the next, for me, it's like probably not the end goal, but it's like probably the next milestone, because I'm fine living alone. I'm perfectly happy, and I wouldn't mind living alone for the rest of my life. That is, it's not a need. But I want to know if I'm capable of sustaining a non-sexual but like romantic partner relationship.
Yeah.
If I'm capable of doing that. And if that happens organically, I am totally okay with it.
Yeah.
It's just a milestone. If that doesn't happen and if I go on a different path, that's fine too.
And can I tell you, you keep starting it with, I like living alone. You're allowed to live alone for the rest of your fucking life.
Absolutely.
Even if you have a romantic partner, like,
you still live alone.
I've been with my boyfriend for 10 years now. We do not live together. One of my favorite biological anthropologists, Helen Fisher, rest in peace, we love you so much. She was married twice. Never lived with either man.
Yeah. And I think that is, for me, that would be so good. I think, romance dies when you share a toilet. I can barely have my daughter sit on my toilet. I can't have a stranger.
See, and I don't mind sharing a toilet, but I don't like if I'm mad at you or if I want my own space, that if you don't have another place to go, I hate that.
Yeah.
Like, I will spend 5 days straight with him, and then I'm like, you got to go home.
Okay, ideal relationship for me, a partner, romantic partner. We can have an apartment, not on the same floor, but in the same building.
Perfect.
Or maybe the two buildings adjacent each other. I'm okay with that too.
I love that.
Where we have our space. So yeah, that would be
3 blocks.
Very nice.
3 blocks, so that you could get your little serotonin walk in.
A little bit of cardio, yes. Get the dog to pee in a couple of places, Yeah.
It was so fun to talk to you. I love this perspective. It's not just perspective, it's your life and you. And I think a lot of people are going to relate to it because, again, they're not just a lot of asexuals in Boston. There's asexuals everywhere. And
there's asexuals everywhere.
Yeah. And I'm really grateful to you for telling your story and providing representation and just being so great.
No, thank you so much. I was very nervous. I was like, I've never come in my life, and this is the podcast. I was worried about it. But this was so nice.
It started because I had never, so I was in the same boat for 28 years, but I wanted to, was the thing. And now I don't anymore either, but that's another story for another time. Where can everybody find you online if they want to find your comedy or stuff that you're doing?
I don't post my comedy videos online because that would my company won't like that.
Okay.
And I need them for healthcare. I post stuff on my Instagram, Srilatha Sauce, and that's probably the best way to, and I post, if I'm doing a show, I'll post about that on Instagram.
Perfect.
It's usually a lot of K-pop content, but beyond that, sometimes it is about shows as well.
You guys, you can find me at Remy Casimir, find the podcast at How Come Podcast. Message us if you like this episode, if you have a similar story that you'd like to share. If you want to watch this episode with video, patreon.com/howcome, very exciting. And I have to ask this, Srilatha, after a sexual experience, which, you know what, let's just say it's been sexual, because we talked about cake, and cake is inherently sexual. Did you finish?
Oh, finished. Lick the plate clean.
Okay, great. I love to hear it. Thank you so much for coming. I finished too. And you guys, thanks so much for listening. We'll see you next time on How Come. Bye.
Bye.
It's not you, it's me. I try so hard to finish honestly. They say you'll know when you go all the way from A right down to O. Oh no, I think that I've still got a ways to go. Oh, I'm sick of this and I have got to know. How come? How come? How come I can't achieve? How come I can't achieve? I'm rolling up my sleeves. I'm rolling up my sleeves. Oh baby, I believe these guests can help, 'cause I can't do it by myself. I wanna jizz